Welcome, everybody, to my LinkedIn Live series on software velocity and software development lifecycle operational excellence, or SDLC operational excellence. Today, and for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about test technical debt so you can reduce the time it takes to release your software to market and improve the quality as well. Who am I talking to? CTOs, VP of engineering, leaders of quality engineering of companies that develop software or applications for either revenue or for internal operations or for both. Okay, little housekeeping. If you have any questions along the way, please put them in the comments and I'll answer them at the end of this talk. Okay, many of you struggle with, why does my software take forever to release when I know it should only take half the time? Or it's slowly taking longer and longer to release. And to make matters worse, defects are not trending down. So today I'm going to briefly explain what test technical debt is, how it happens, why it occurs, how to recognize it, why it's important to do something about it, and what to do about it. Most people have heard of technical debt. However, I haven't heard anybody talking about test technical debt or test debt itself. So most people think of technical debt as not doing work that will result in much more work later. But it also includes overdoing work. And together they will accrue an exponential amount of work later. And like any loan, if you default on the loan, you can go bankrupt. But in this case, it can paralyze your ability to release any software with quality. Test technical debt happens in two ways. The first is very similar to any technical debt and what most people would think of. Skipping functional and non-functional testing that should be done before you release your software out into the wild. And we know any defect found in the field causes unplanned rework and retest for issues that should have been caught early in your SDLC. The second way, and the main reason software releases are slow, is due to excessive and unnecessary work. Manually doing work that should be automated. Any repetitive testing, regression testing, functional testing, there's all kinds of testing that can be automated. Manually setting up the infrastructure or environments or the data sets for testing, or any manual work around your CI/CD pipeline. All of this could be done via automation. Now, the worst and most overlooked and subtle way is redundancy and inconsistency. This to me was a really aha moment when I learned about this. For example, having multiple test automation frameworks, which causes unnecessary overlap of methods and test cases. I had a case one time where a company had 3 test automation frameworks, 3 ways of doing the same kinds of testing. And anytime something failed, you had to look around all 3 methods to see if they fixed it in all 3 places. That's 3x times the work. The other thing I see in redundancy is redundant functional test cases due to Scrum team silos. So all Scrum teams are busy, functionally testing their content. They're not looking for reusability. They're not looking for reusability across methods. And therefore you have multiple ways of doing the same actions. And not only that, it's a nightmare to maintain over the long run. All of this causes longer and longer times to develop your automated test cases and impacts your overall software release process. And like I said, when anything breaks, it has to be fixed in multiple places. That's debt. Now, this occurs intentionally and unintentionally. So intentionally mostly occurs for companies that are releasing an MVP and they're testing, product market fit. I'm not going to really talk about that because that's intentional. They know what they're doing. They're not going to address something until later on. That's okay. The other way I often see is underfunding customer-like scale, infrastructure, or environments for their testing. Now, unintentionally is cutting corners due to time pressures and lack of effective or efficient testing. And this includes lack of consistency and reusability. Here's a common example that I think many of you can relate to. Your testers didn't realize, or they didn't know, that a recent change collaterally impacted data privacy metadata. And they did not update the test cases to cover that area. Needless to say, you do not want your customers to find those kind of escapes, because they're much more damaging than just spending extra time fixing it. Okay, how to recognize it? Besides taking longer and longer to get releases out the door, another way to recognize it is that your team is spending 80% of their time bug fixing and rework instead of adding customer value, such as enhancements, new features, or stability. Now you might think, well, my software development team, they know what they're doing, but they're not off the hook. The biggest problem I see in all of this is that the quality engineering team let the software team get away with it, because most of this is unintentional. Why is it important to take care of it? Well, think of your SDLC like clogged arteries. While it can eventually lead to a heart attack, it will slow you down to a snail's pace. And you do not want that to happen to your software development lifecycle. Although your competition will love you, but your customers, not so much. So what should you do about it? Well, you go to the doctor, you get an exam and an assessment, and they prescribe specific recommendation of diet and exercise and cholesterol medication. Similarly, for test technical debt, go to an expert like Software Velocity Partners, and get a mini technical due diligence assessment. And they will prescribe what to do about it and how to pay down your test debt in the short term and in the long term. Okay, so now you know enough about test technical debt to be dangerous, and you'd like to pay it down or pay some of it down. And you want to know, what should I expect in return? Well, companies can expect 2 to 10x increase in their release velocity, 50 to 90% defect reduction, and 25 to 75% ROI improvement over between 18 months and 2 years. If any of this resonates and you'd like to chat further, please DM me and we'll figure out a good time to talk. And for now, thank you very much. And please, for anybody who has any questions, please put them in the comment section, and I will take those questions right now. Okay, I don't see any questions, and I'm wondering if I just don't see them because of LinkedIn. But okay, well, listen, thank you all for your time today. I'm trying to keep these sessions shorter, being conscious of your time. So please, again, if you want to further investigate test technical debt and subtle ways that this may be showing up in your environment, please reach out and someone will get back to you shortly. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day.